What's up, everybody? Happy New Year. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope the first month of 2025 is going well for yours, even at least being a little better than it was before. My name is Ray Rob. If you have not ever checked into my channel, thank you for coming. If you're just looking by, that's cool. If you're just looking to see, hey, he doesn't have a lot of followers, I thank you for that as well. Because you could have been doing anything else, but you decided to do that. I'm not the type to focus on negativity, though. But thus, first and foremost, give a big shout out to the national champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes. It's a great story, man. I was going to do a bunch of self-patting on the back. I'm going to wait for that. Let's focus on them. Let's focus on these kids. You know, the story that was beat like the last wagon dragging. All right, that didn't make no sense, but I didn't care. They beat the story to death. You already know what it was. Ohio State lost to Michigan. People were calling for Ryan Day's job. Everybody on TV had something wild to say. Fans was going crazy. I've been arguing with fans. Forget other fans, but with Ohio State fans about Ryan Day for the last 4 years. And I'm glad to see that he proved himself right. I mean, I believed he could do it. I mean, I didn't know how it was going to get done, but so it was something to me, to talk about him. He's the type of person that is pretty direct. And so when issues arose, he would deal with them instantly. He would make corrections. It started with the defense. You know, I know everybody likes to say that he started off on third base. I mean, it's funny. It's funny how this little stuff can just take off, and then that's just what a person is defined by, and it's not really. I mean, I know fair, who cares about the word fair, but it's just inaccurate. I mean, Jim Harbaugh lost 5 straight. He was going to lose 6 straight. Michigan fans that I know, family members, friends, they wanted Harbaugh's ass gone. I remember I was saying in 2019, in order for the Big Ten to get respect, Michigan had to be good. Penn State had to be good. And actually Notre Dame, because really, you know, I live in Atlanta now. Shout out to Atlanta. I've been here for 6 years. And the thing about the SEC is they go at each other. Fan bases hate each other. But when it comes to that common goal of we're the champions at the end of the year, they all unite. They stand on it like pride. With us, and to be fair, let's keep it 100. I'm going to get back to the championship. Ohio State's been carrying up north football this whole century. When you go down south, you had Florida. You have Florida State, Clemson, LSU, Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. We fighting by ourselves. Everybody else getting their ass kicked. We getting our ass kicked. We win a little bit. Bowl games are being dominated. So to where it is today, what had to happen had to happen. You had to balance it out. That's why the SEC has been so great. Because you had Nick Saban who led the ship, and then everybody else balanced it out. So it was good to see other teams pull their weight. When you talk about who's better up north, basically it's up north versus down south football. And I've almost forgot during the 2000s, Texas, USC as well, you know. But Ryan Day, those kids, like I said, they went through that team. I understand it's the most frustrating loss. It's the second. It's either the first or the second most frustrating loss that I've seen when we played Michigan. 2003 was frustrating too because Krenzel got injured. Scott McClellan came in, I think, balled out, and then we put Krenzel back in, and we ended up losing, I think, 28-14 or something like that. This is off the top of the head. And I want to say 96. 96. Yeah, because 97 I was in college. 96 when Spring slipped and Ty Street scored. And it was like 14-9. It wasn't no way in hell we was supposed to lose that. I mean, we weren't really. It was a lot of times we weren't supposed to lose, but that 14-9 game and the 13-10 game, because I just knew we were going to just whoop them, and we didn't. So what happened is they went through hell. They saw their own fan base turn on them. The frustration, I get it, but in this, they have an unrealistic expectation, and of course you want to strive for greatness, but a lot of people's memories are just jaded, and then the way media feeds into people's stuff, a snowball piece of shit of a statement can carry weight, and it continues to build momentum. So that third base stuff, and then that Lou Holtz saying they're not tough. You challenging character and people's manhood, and so they fell into the bait, kept it close. Michigan did what they did. And so those 2-3 weeks, I was arguing with people that people said he was never going to win. He wasn't. I'm just talking. It was a different vitriol. It was a different vitriol. It was in the same ilk, not as much, but it was in that same realm of when LeBron left Cleveland and first came back, as far as the disdain and hate that people had. Even when you asked him, we don't care, he better win or he's fired. Basically, to win, he had to win. He had to beat 4 top 5 teams. Something that's never been done before. So, or he fired. That was the dumbest thing. I understand people being mad, and I've been saying it over and over. I'll say it again. It took Kirby Smart the same amount of time to win a championship. Jameson Williams doesn't get injured. Marvin Harrison doesn't get injured. Maybe Kirby doesn't have a championship. That's sometimes you get the breaks. Not to say he doesn't deserve it, but that's what happens sometimes. He's 1-6 against Alabama. Nobody talks about that because he won 2. He's a 2-time national champion. So you see that Tennessee, like they said, was 30%, maybe 35% in Tennessee Vol fans that came to Ohio. Sent their ass home, sent them packing. It's nothing like feeling doubted. I'll tell you that. Sorry, man. Hand is ass. It's nothing like when you feel just thoroughly betrayed. Okay, that's how y'all feel. We get it. And so they were able to bond together. Everybody's telling the same story. I know they had that meeting where they let everything out. And, a lot of times when those stuff happens, people really implode. So it was contingent on how everything started. And they couldn't have started any better. They literally just said, man, we going to go out, man. F it. This how we going out. They cracking helmets. Beat the brakes off of Tennessee. That's the reason why I'm laughing. Nobody was satisfied. Everybody was happy at the time. A lot of people weren't satisfied. Oregon, and I always felt this way. I always felt we were way better than Oregon. I said this a lot of times. We didn't even blitz. We didn't blitz against Oregon in the second game as well, but we played as bad as you can play defensively, with no resistance or anything. They played very well. We turned the ball over, and we came within a slide of being able to win that game at Autzen Stadium. So I knew if we did what we needed to do, I knew we would win convincingly. I ain't know it was going to be like that. But, shout out to Oregon. I think Oregon's good too. Or, I'm just saying, I'm taking shots. I'm being paid. Shout out to Dan Lanning. I know he was talking real crazy about Deion in Colorado and all that, with all that hype and everything. And that Ohio State game was really like the first big game they won because, I know Dan Lanning was the ex-defensive coordinator for Georgia. And they got spanked at the beginning of last year. And they also couldn't beat Washington when it really counted. Because really the last couple of years, they were supposed to be either them or USC was supposed to go. Caleb couldn't do it. Bo Nix couldn't do it. So, but they had a talented squad. They just ran into a team that was like undeniable. So then you got that victory. So that opens eyes. And then the last two games versus Texas, starting with Texas, the same thing was about to happen. And the beauty of humanity is you're not perfect. Everything doesn't go smoothly. So right when they're getting ready to drive down and go up 21 and put 21 on the board, Travion had that stupid bonehead penalty, which he atoned for. And then that just set everything back. So then that game was close. And then that great defensive stand. And then we know what else will happen. And then you got Notre Dame, whose team is built like a Marcus Freeman team that he played for, the Jim Tressel teams, where very great defense, quarterback that makes heady plays, playmakers that make timely plays, keep it close, winning in the end. That game was really should have been a blow. It really should have won about 50-7. It was 31-7. And then you saw they started playing like they started playing against Michigan. I was watching and I was just like, oh man, you can't do that against Notre Dame. They're not going to quit. And what happens? They come back like only they can do. Made it a great game, great try, but Ohio State got conservative 2 years ago. This is where you see, coaches learn. 2 years ago, Ohio State was up 12 against Georgia in this same stadium. CJ runs for like 40 yards. Ryan Day went conservative. Instead of just trying to go for the win, he played conservative, and that field goal probably went still is somewhere on I-85. That shit went close. Excuse my language. Sorry for the language. This year, they got conservative, and then on 3rd and 9, 3rd and ball game, 1-on-1, you go deep. That's the Ryan Day that came in. You see what I'm saying? That was that, man, F it. So you just see the learning lessons, and, when people go through tough times, I've had some tough times recently. I'm not scared to talk about it, you know what I'm saying? What that lets you know is even in tough times, a lot of those kids, they're strong on their faith no matter win or lose. The team is. That's dope. I'm not going to sit here and preach and all that, but it's dope. They all have a similar focus, similar passion, and through the roughest time, because through my rough time, my friends have said a lot of nothing but positive words, and sometimes you find yourself complaining, and then really what it is that through the roughest times, it shows your character, it shows your true character. And it can, it's the power of energy and the power of words and belief is real. It's real. Things that you may want to happen may not happen at that moment, but if you're, stay true in your ways, and no matter how good it is, how bad it is, especially if you're going through a rough patch, man, just keep pushing. Like, really. It's hard to say that. Sometimes people don't push, they just try to survive. Nah, you want to push through it. And that's what they did. They saw it through. So it's a great story of perseverance when everybody's against you. As long as you got yourself that you believe in, you got a good power that you believe in. For me, the man above. Like, and they had a good team. Like they had, like most of the times, like I said, teams and people disband. When stuff gets bad, that's when when everything is good, it's easy. It's when it's rough, and you don't know what's gonna happen, but you know we're gonna be together. We're gonna stick this thing out, and we're gonna make it work. We will make it work. We're gonna persevere. It's a great story. Everybody keeps talking about this. The team that had it was a $20 million NIL deal. I mean, we already seen other teams have more. There's a lot of great teams that don't win. Some of our most talented teams, a couple of our most talented teams with the most talented quarterbacks have not won. So I don't know where people get that from. I seen Peyton Manning lose in '97. T. Martin replaced him in '98. They won. We won in 2002. We had a better team in 2003. We lost. We won in 2014 with a third-string quarterback. Came back in 2015 with an all-star cast and lost. 2019, we would have matched up with LSU. We lost. So you never know. So congratulations to those kids. Congratulations to Ohio State. Congratulations to Ryan Day, to the AD, to the fans that stayed true, and the ones that acting like they didn't see anything wrong, or you know how people are. Nobody in this day and age likes to admit that they're wrong. Everybody just wants to stand and say, basically, okay, cool, he won, yeah, nah, those type of people. I was kind of licorice, a lot of people like that, but that even takes a lot of energy. I've seen some people. Shout out to DC Coach Jim Knowles. I know his sister would be online. She's cool. She has great posts and everything. She kept receipts, because y'all talking about people's family and very so disrespectful. Like, nah. And then when she had receipts and now people don't want to say anything. But you was talking loud as hell when you thought it was over. And I'll continue to say, I knew what his defense was going to look like. Because I saw it at Oklahoma State. I'm like, he don't even got half the talent that he got at Ohio State. So he just had to figure out how to use them. And then in the playoffs, I mean, if you didn't know, I mean, they got a rotating thing basically. I mean, Caleb is basically playing like a robber position the whole time. And where he can even move over, kind of be like the third linebacker. If it works like that, he can cover nickel. Or Latham Ransom, who's been a nickel his whole career, also can do that. Jordan Hancock could do that. So they got three interchangeable players. And his defense, he has three safeties that does that. And then, that defensive line, that defense was the best defense we've seen in a long time. They shut stuff down. So, kudos to them, man. Kudos to them. Also, I wanted to give a shout out. I had to come on here just to give a little bit. I want to give a shout out to Trap City Cafe. Shout out to the manager, Mike. Shout out to Tip. I want to thank him again. We had an event there Monday. We had a watch party. And then we also had an after party. We were able to have, thankfully, a few Buckeyes come through. Heisman Trophy winner Troy Smith came through. And then also Ted Ginn came through. And then afterwards, Troy came back. Ted came back. Shout out to Mike Dawes. Mike Dawes came through. Cotton came through. And the man that caught one of the most famous passes in Super Bowl history, Santonio Holmes, came through. The legend Keith Byers came through. Shout out to my business partners, my homeboy Ivo, MOG Ivo, brought the day parties to Ohio. My homegirl Miss P, Toy Lee, great businesswoman, great person. Her and her daughter, one of the best TikTok tandems going. Mama and Ken. We put on a great event. Everybody had a great time. Got to see our team win. Shout out to the Cleveland rapper Fat Al. He was there. Performed right afterwards. Shout out to Mecca. Shout out to Cam. Shout out to a lot of people, man. I'm glad everybody came. It was a great success. Got to watch our teams, and everybody just was able to just have a good time. So I'm really This is really just the championship edition. The shout out to O State for accomplishing what they wanted to accomplish, but the road may have been a little different and a little difficult. But they persevered. So shout out to them. Yes, I feel like they have a chance to repeat. I'm not going to lie. I would not be surprised if we lose to Penn State because they owe us one, and it's going to have to happen sometime. We're going to be real good. That defense that Jim Knowles has is going to look faster than it did this year. Just remember I said that. When he employs that jack position, or I think it could be either Curry or especially Hicks, as far as that hybrid end linebacker, Wesley Matthews. I said Wesley Matthews. That's the basketball player. My fault. Jermaine Matthews, the best cover corner on the team. He'll be a junior. The man-child Devin Sanchez, 6'4" corner coming in. You got Scott. You got Simpson Hunt. Of course, Caleb Downs. I'm almost positive Hancock is gone. He don't need to, he cold with it. But that defense, Arvell Reese, that defense is going to be cold. So cheers to the Buckeyes, man. And for all the doubters and non-believers and all the people that hate to see the Buckeyes win, see y'all online, man. Y'all hurt. Accept it. Love it. Go ahead and talk about they still ain't beat Michigan. Tom Brady lost to Miami and won multiple championships. The only people who remember that is Miami. And seeing how the college football season is now mimicking an NFL season because the Buckeyes went 14-2. The only thing about the Michigan game that will be mentioned is it started to burn a fire in his team that couldn't be denied. Now, of course, with that being said, they need to whoop Michigan's ass next year. And in Ann Arbor, run the score, Brian. You run the damn score up! But pretty much that's it. Check me out on my socials, Ray Robb, REIROBB97. All the socials. AKA X, Instagram, Snapchat, Tickety Tockety Rockety, which is back. Y'all fell for that. But hey, what's new? Blue Sky, Threads, all the same. We'll get to the NFL championship this weekend. People have already did what I thought they were going to do on Lamar because they lost. And yes, he has his turnovers. Seeing the man do certain things, and it's like, well, if Lamar wouldn't have did this, that's just who you just choose to blame. I seen Josh Allen not play great against Cincinnati when Joe Burrow came in there and took it to his ass, and Josh Allen did not perform well. And then the next year, he lost to Kansas City at home, and yet because what he did in 2020, everybody washes that shit away. It's not the shit on Josh Allen. It's just stating the facts. Shout out to Jaden Daniels. He's doing his thing. Him and Philadelphia will be a great matchup. Kansas City and Buffalo. Kansas City's going to win. I mean, until Kansas City loses, I'm stop picking against them. But we're going to get to that. Until next time. Peace.